All right, so what is the Argo RAFT, and why shouldn't you buy it? First of all, if you already have a bunch of money in Star Citizen, why are you watching this video? If you like the RAFT, buy it. It's got a great visual style. I love the look of the Argo ships. The one thing I don't like about the Argo ships is what they do. The mole hate flying around that thing, hate using it for its actual intended purpose. The Argo MPUV, the multi-purpose utility vehicle, it has no quantum drive. It's pretty much useless by itself, so whatever, right? The Argo manufacturer tends to be pretty lackluster when it comes to its features that it offers to the pilot. Very, very limited mission profile, and that's kind of what this whole video is designed to expand upon for the Argo ships. I mean, honestly, the Argo almost fits into what I would call a NPC ship, a ship that is so limited in its features and its functionalities in a game that's supposed to be about, an MMO, about going out into the world, exploring, being an adventurer, Han Solo, that kind of stuff. The Argo does one thing. But let's go back to the features of the Argo RAFT. It's a two-person ship, carries 96 SCU. It's a bit bigger than the Freelancer Max. Mostly it's taller than the Freelancer Max, a bit wider on the front, so more boxier compared to the Freelancer Max, which kind of comes down to a point. Definitely a lot better interior, let me tell you what, compared to the Freelancer Max. I guess it's supposed to be a long-range cargo ship. It has a ridiculous amount of quantum fuel in it. About as much quantum fuel as the Anvil Carrack, 27,000 units. It comes with a tractor beam, comes with VTOL thrusters, remote turret on top with size 3 gun ports, comes with mounts for optional size 1 guns. You want to put some guns on the thing. For the pilot, comes with the armor on this thing, is best in class, sarcastic air quotes there. You probably can't see it. You do it, but I'm doing them. Doing the air quotes as hard as I can for best in class, whatever that's supposed to mean. Fortified armor. We don't have the armor systems in game just yet, so that's kind of up in the air what that even means. CIG is literally selling the counter to this ship in the form of the Ion and the Inferno, and I'm pretty sure you'll be able to mount missiles, torpedoes, other guns that can go through best-in-class armor. I make sure that, okay, this thing's best in class for a cargo ship. Everything goes through it like a knife through butter. It's still got paper-thin armor compared to most ships in the game. Just everything goes through it. We don't know what that best-in-class armor is going to turn into. But it does have all right components in it, roughly the same as the Vanguard series. 2 size 2 shield generators, 2 size 2 power plants, 2 size 2 coolers, a size 2 quantum drive, which would help whenever we get physicalized cargo in Star Citizen. Cargo starts affecting mass. VTOL thrusters are going to help a lot with those ships. Ships like the Constellations, carrying around a bunch of gold, you're probably going to want VTOL thrusters on these ships to help get stuff into orbit. And of course, it has a tractor beam for easy loading and unloading of cargo pods. I don't know what else you're going to be able to shove into the cargo pods besides, cargo. Maybe you'll be able to detach one of the cargo pods and put a couple of vehicles in there that'll fit. Dragonfly or a Greycat PTV may fit in one of those things, which could be useful for doing other missions. But yeah, they never talked about being able to break open the cargo containers and actually put other stuff in there. And a footprint that's a bit bigger than a Freelancer Max. So combined with the armor, probably a little tricky to take down for a single light fighter, but still, this thing isn't anything crazy to talk about. And it is good looking though. I tell you what, I like looking at this thing. And then now we've talked about the features of the ship, I guess we need to go through and talk about some of the drawbacks of the ship. And the biggest drawback that comes up with the Argo RAFT is when you start comparing it when you start making it onto as a product. When you start thinking of the Argo RAFT as a product. And you start comparing it to other products that exist in Star Citizen, especially the Freelancer series. 96 SCU really doesn't seem to be a lot when you compare this thing to the Freelancer Max, which is a slightly smaller ship. And the Freelancer Max carries 120, has internal cargo volume that can carry vehicles, and has a ramp so it can easily unload and load vehicles on the surface of an outpost. You just start comparing this thing to the Freelancer Max, and why not buy the Freelancer Max? The Max has better weapons, forward-facing, it's slightly smaller, crew of 4 versus a crew of 2, can carry vehicles, can carry cargo, can carry a combination of vehicles and cargo, do bounty hunting, it has missiles, it has guns, it has only one power plant though, the Freelancer Max, so that's kind of I don't know if that's going to be a huge deal. But the Argo RAFT is very laser focused on cargo transport. And the Freelancer Max can do a lot more varied professions, even go as far as to kind of dip its fingers into a little bit of bounty hunting, based off the toughness of the ship and the firepower it has equipped on it. 4 size 3 gun mounts is nothing to laugh at, no matter what ship that's attached to. The missile mounts of the Freelancer 2 size 4s and 2 size 3 mounts, which, you know, obviously you get a huge choice of what you can put on there. That's nothing to really sneeze at either. You know, the Argo RAFT versus like a Constellation, and then it gets even more ridiculous because we're already talking about apples and oranges here with like the Argo RAFT versus the Freelancer. You know, at least we're in the fruit category, right? But when you start stepping up Argo RAFT versus a Constellation Taurus, like it's now you're talking about like rabid badgers versus an orange. The comparison becomes ludicrous. Like the Taurus has far more firepower, turrets for actual other people. You know, cargo tractor beams, has the ability to like have more cargo, has living spaces for 4 people, has a lot more stuff going on inside of it than just the raft. So it's really not even a conversation I want to have. Like that's just ridiculous. Why would you even make that conversation even allowed to happen? I'm pretty sure the Taurus would laugh at the raft if it had lips and lungs installed on it. Maybe one day we'll get that. We'll get that module for Star Citizen for our ship. I know Nubifier did a voice attack module a long time ago, Star Citizen. You might want to look that one up one of these days. And then the problem I have with the Argo RAFT is just its inflexibility. One of the reasons why I call it an NPC ship is just it's just cargo. That's all it does. I mean, if you're into that sort of gameplay, sure, fine, whatever. If you want to give CIG your money, fine, whatever. If you like the look of the damn thing, you want to buy it, you're just going to collect dust in your hangar, fine, whatever. Get it. But if you're looking out there and you're thinking about, I have this much money burning a hole in my pocket, what should I get? Get a Freelancer Max instead of getting a Raft. This thing is so laser focused on cargo transport that you may not enjoy the handcuffs that this thing puts on you. The Freelancer Max at least gives you enough mission flexibility in its profile that if you get bored of cargo hauling one day, or if you get called up by your organization, or if you decide to just strike out into a slightly different role, you don't even have to change ships really, unless it becomes like a massive shift in the mission profile. Like you want to go long distance exploration. I don't know if the Max would be a good choice for that, but then again, will the Argo be a good choice for that? It actually could be. Like it could kind of, it's got enough quantum fuel into it. It's got actual suit storage and weapon lockers, which is kind of weird because this thing has more weapon lockers than a Hammerhead, which is weird. Like a civilian cargo, basically a space semi-truck, has more gun racks in it than a military gunship, which is hilarious to me. Like oh my god, why? I guess when it comes down to it, if the Hammerhead gets boarded or something, we're just gonna have just a pile of guns we run to. So yeah, I really don't think the 96 SCU really makes this thing stand out enough in the cargo business. I mean, you're talking about the USD pledge cost, right? $125 for store credit or 110 war bond. Really not my issue with the ship. I mean, like I said, if you got the money, you want to buy it, whatever. I really don't think it's worth that price as a product when you compare it to other products that already exist within Star Citizen for kind of some of the reasons I talked about. But when you start comparing this thing to other ships that exist in-game that are available for in-game credits, I think that's a far more interesting discussion to have, and probably one of the reasons why I'm making this video. Because why not just spend a little more time grinding out a better ship, right? The Raft isn't available for in-game purchase, but we can kind of look at other ships that are around the same size as the Raft. Ships like the Freelancer Max, for example. You look at the Freelancer Max, it's available at the Lorville New Deal ship shop for 2,181,500 credits. And of course, you look at the base Freelancer, again, New Deal ship shop at Lorville, 1,697,600 credits. So you'd expect the Raft to kind of hit around that price range, somewhere between 1.5 million credits and 2 million credits, maybe is 2.2 million credits. You'd expect the Raft to hit around that price range, considering its size and its internal volume and the components that it has, because that's a portion of the ship price. So why not just hold, if it's gonna be 2 million credits, okay, that's quite a grind for an Aurora, but it does give you quite a bit more SCU to play with. You're just doing cargo runs and whatnot. But is it really worth stepping up to a ship like the Raft to make any more money? Right now, 96 SCU can make you some money in cargo running, and the internal volume with the elevator does make it so you can actually deliver boxes and whatnot. So that's actually pretty good. And you can do, ground-based missions. You can get outside the ship and run up to an outpost and, gun down dudes for extra credit if you want that. But the Freelancer can do that stuff better. The Freelancer's got a ramp that opens up. You walk off the ramp, grab the box, throw the boxes in. Same with cargo, same with driving vehicles in there. And also, the Freelancer's got 2 exits. Get the back of the ship, or you can take the ladder off the side of the ship if you wanted to get out of the Freelancer. So, why grind for a Raft? Well, if you're interested in that, why not grind for a Caterpillar at that point, right? Why not just go Caterpillar? 4,686,600 credits. So it's probably, I'd expect almost a little bit over double the amount of time to grind for a Caterpillar. But why not just go for a Caterpillar? You know, actually have an actual transport ship. 576 SCU. Much bigger than the Raft, that it is, but it's an actual real cargo ship. If you get a fuel-efficient drive, you can go quite a while with it. Quantum fuel capacity of the Caterpillar, of course, 11,000. But this also brings down the concept of cargo capacity, fuel efficiency, and distance, right? The Raft carries 96 SCU. It's designed, according to its brochure, to quickly unload and load. How complicated is the unloading and loading process going to be compared to the trip to get to where you're going, right? If you're spending several hours going from one star system to the next, because right now going across the Stanton system, depending on the quantum drive you mount, it can be several minutes. I believe the Stanton system is about 1 AU, 1 astronomical unit, which is like 150 million kilometers in diameter. It's fairly small compared to what it is in lore. Like in lore, it's like 5 AU, but in reality, it's about 100 some odd kilometers in diameter. Pontus quantum drive, which is the default quantum drive in the Caterpillar, that's a little over 10 minutes of quantum travel, assuming you don't get interdicted or something. So the trip is probably going to be like what consumes a lot of time. And once you get there, you probably want to maximize your profits. And it feels really weird how the Raft has just a lot of quantum fuel at its fingertips when it has such a tiny, tiny storage capacity compared to something like a Caterpillar. Like, wouldn't you want to carry as much as possible on a long trip in order to maximize your profits, maximize your fuel efficiency? How much? Because there's going to be the distance of the trip compared to how much cargo you've hauled, you know, plus all the wear and tear on the ship, how much fuel how much hydrogen fuel, how much quantum fuel you've burned, how often you have to stop and refuel. Obviously, the fewer times you have to refuel along the way, the better, because you could just keep moving. But even then, you're still going to be, how much fuel you burned is still going to be based off of the quantum drive you have installed. And there's also the interesting discussion of like jump point sizes, which we don't have any inkling of how they're going to work. We have an old developer post a long time ago which talks about the different sizes of ships, and you know, certain capital class ships will only be able to go through the largest jump holes. You know, medium and large ships will have to go through the medium holes, and the small size ships will get to the small ones, and you'll be forced to take certain routes through this and that and that, the other thing, and all this stuff could change in development. Even the fuel capacity of the Raft can change mid-development. Everything is subject to change. Nothing is final. Just theorizing just how this thing is going to work towards released Star Citizen is just kind of frustrating, really, to talk about. One of the reasons why I'm making this video, you might want to stick with what works, and if it's your only ship, if the Argo RAFT is your only ship, you probably don't want it to be your only ship. That's the point of this video. Don't buy just the Raft. Buy it because you like the look of it. Buy it because you want to give Chris Roberts and company some more money, and you want to help support development. As far as ships I would recommend that you own, if this is your only ship, I don't think you'd be happy with it. Not with the current state of the game. And in fact, I'd probably recommend just buying this thing with credits instead of buying it with money. So that's the one thing I'd do with the Argo RAFT, was just add another 32 SCU cargo container to the back of it. That would give it 128 SCU, which would put it above a Constellation, put it within line of the Freelancer Max. So now you'd have an interesting conversation right there between the Freelancer Max and the Argo RAFT. And because of the light armaments on the Argo, it would definitely make it an interesting conversation there between the Argo RAFT and the Constellation series. Obviously, it wouldn't compete with the Constellation Taurus very well, but it would definitely compete with the rest of the Connies in terms of cargo capacity and price. Something I just realized recording this video is, with the hilarious amount of quantum fuel this thing has, and the very cozy, very, very comfy space that it has for its crew occupants, this thing would probably be pretty good at exploration, believe it or not. Well, whenever we get exploration gameplay in Star Citizen, this thing has the fuel capacity to go to the distance. Don't know about hydrogen fuel, but definitely quantum fuel this thing has in spade. But again, those numbers can change. CIG's done that before. When the Carrack was first initially put in, people complained that it didn't have no quantum fuel, so they buffed the quantum fuel for the Carrack, gave it a ton of quantum fuel. Maybe CIG decides to nerf the quantum fuel on this thing. All the numbers are subject to change, and really not worth bringing up in a video whether or not you should buy it, because that's something that may not materialize ever. But anyways, that's my thoughts on the Argo RAFT. Let me know what you think in the comments. Remember to like and subscribe if you want to see more content from myself. We're definitely trying to do more of these types of videos in the future, and I appreciate everybody who managed to make it this far. Thank you so much.